Today was the last day of the Supreme Court's current session, and they issued a flurry of decisions. Here's the big one. The justices ruled that federal district judges will no longer be able to issue nationwide injunctions on cases that they hear. The Trump administration is celebrating the decision as it essentially removes any of the legal roadblocks placed on the president's agenda. Hello, everyone. I'm Glenn Jones.
I'm J.C. Monahan. Now, this includes President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship in the U.S. We'll talk about the other decisions the nation's highest court made today in just a moment with Colton Bradford. But first, NBC 10 immigration reporter Oscar Margain will dive into what today's ruling means for birthright citizenship here in Massachusetts and across the country. Oscar?
Yeah, that's right. Birthright citizenship, as we know, it will continue for now, but that could change in the very near future. Now, this decision stripping this particular power from the lower court judges means that we could soon live in a country where a child born on U.S. soil may not be recognized as a citizen in other parts of the country.
These judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation.
In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court siding with President Donald Trump, limiting the power of federal district judges to issue injunctions that have blocked many of the president's actions.
These injunctions have blocked our policies from tariffs to military readiness to immigration to foreign affairs.
The decision stems from 3 lawsuits against the president's executive order issued on day 1 of his administration, ending birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. from parents of undocumented or temporary legal status. 3 separate federal judges paused the order from going into effect nationwide until now.
The court ruled that trial courts do not have the authority to issue nationwide injunctions. They can only issue injunctions that affect the people right in front of them.
That means that with Friday's decision, the Supreme Court allowed the individual plaintiffs suing the government to get relief. But the lawsuits brought by more than a dozen states, including Massachusetts, got kicked back to the lower courts.
The court asked the plaintiff states to demonstrate the need for a nationwide injunction in the district court. We have already done that, and we look forward to doing that again.
The suing states have 30 days to prove their case for nationwide relief. Otherwise, the executive order will go into effect in the states that did not sue.
It would be chaos and unjust to take away and strip birthright citizenship from children who are born in one state but then aren't considered citizens in another state.
Bigger picture, the SCOTUS decision could pave the way for the president's agenda.
Ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, and numerous other priorities.
Now, the Massachusetts Attorney General believes that the president here is being allowed to change the 14th Amendment by executive order, and she believes that he could do other things with the rest of the constitutional amendments if his power isn't checked. Guys?
Well, Oscar, you mentioned the issue over birthright citizenship was not addressed by the Supreme Court today. Any indication that the justices would take up the matter?
Yeah, JC, the White House here says that in October, when the session resumes for the justices, that's when they expect them to debate this issue again. And any decision that comes out of that could have an impact not only here in Massachusetts, but in the rest of the country. Guys, back to you.
Oscar Margain, our immigration reporter. Thank you.
Thank you.
As we said before, today there's a lot to keep track of. There were a few rulings from the Supreme Court, cases regarding education, the internet, and health care. NBC 10's Colton Bradford continues our team coverage to explain what else the judges decided on today. Colton.
Yeah, guys, so we're going to take a closer look at 3 other rulings made by the Supreme Court today. Let's start in Texas. It was 2 years ago that lawmakers there passed a law designed to block children from seeing pornography online. That law required adult websites to prompt users for their ages and their birthdays. It was challenged by a group named the Free Speech Coalition. It agreed children shouldn't be seeing adult content, but argued that private citizens shouldn't have to upload personal information, which could be taken by hackers. The Supreme Court disagreed, and that Texas law is being upheld. A second ruling upheld parts of the Affordable Care Act. Currently, a government board decides which medications and services must be covered by the act, also known as Obamacare. But a group made up of Christian employers said that board was never approved by the Senate, and therefore it's unconstitutional. The court disagreed, saying members of the board can be approved and removed by the Health and Human Services Secretary. And finally, we'll head to Maryland, where the court ruled that parents can remove their children from public school classrooms if a lesson involved LGBTQ storybooks or materials. All 6 conservative justices agreed, but in a dissenting opinion, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that children will now be insulated from exposure to new ideas and concepts simply because it may conflict with their parents' religious beliefs.